All right, heard the beep, so we should be ready to go. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And as a spiritual healer, what I do essentially is that I help people to become, or to attain their highest level of consciousness. Now, in this channel, to give is to receive, what I do here is that I use the power of words to pretty much, help you to attain your highest level of consciousness. Now, when I'm talking about the power of words, what I'm really referring here is that, most people would argue that words are powerful, and I get it. But for me, in the most powerful ways that I get to experience words, it isn't necessarily in, a meaning of something, but it's how that thing is being said. So what you see in those quotes, or let's just say proverbs or poetry for that matter, is that they are pretty much structured the same way, although they are different respectively, right? So you could identify poetry from, let's just say, lyricism, although it's part of it. But the similarities comes down to how things are being said. And any great speaker, what I'm saying, who knows anything about speaking or anything of that sort, we understand that it's not what is said, but it's how it's being said. And the magic about how things are being said, and that's where the magic starts in terms of you start to now realize what's taking place, because how things are being said, especially in poetry or depending on or proverb, it's how things are being said that somehow captivate your mind. It's like you could be minding your own business and then you see it or you heard of it and it captures your mind. So it bypass your conscious mind. And by that taking place, it's almost like it makes you, it rendered you to become more open now, to be more receptive. And at that point, you truly get to delve into or to feel or to get the message in whatever that statement is. So and that shit to me is just incredible. It's just incredible. So that's why when I'm talking about the power of words, I'm referring to those quotes, right? So you ever heard a quote where you may feel inspired or motivated or just simply put enlightened by it, and the magic in these statements is it's how it's being said to you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the magic, but it's no magic if that makes any sense. The whole, it's not magical in the sense of it's not a mystery, but the mystery of it is also that too. But anyway, so that's what I meant. So I use a lot of those quotes to, to help you to enhance your consciousness, and we do so by talking about those quotes, but also by unpacking a lot of the things that are being said into those quotes that is not verbally being said. And that's the thing about those quotes too, because they make you, they get you to open up, so you can, pretty much unpack a lot of those wisdom. And that's truly, and that's the only shortcut that you're ever gonna get in life too. And here's another thing that those quotes do is that you don't necessarily, because for most of us, we got to go through the experience to retain the knowledge that we actually gain from that experience. The thing with this now, with those statements, you don't have to have the experience, but you are still experiencing it in a way that it gets you to open up and to reflect or to experience the knowledge in a way that you are not personally or physically experiencing it, but you get to relate to it, but also you truly get to explore it without going through it. And that's why I call this a shortcut. And it's not truly a shortcut, but that's probably the closest thing you'll get to a shortcut when it comes to those quotes, or even to enhance your consciousness in life. Period. And that's why I always tell people you're gonna have to put up with whatever you do. But anyway, that's in a nutshell, that's what I call the power of words, and that's what we do in this channel. To give is to receive, and those are some of the quotes that we explore and try to get the deeper meaning out of them, because these things are truly packed with a lot of wisdom. So, and as a disclaimer, which is almost not a disclaimer, because the thing about those quotes too, I mean, you get to experience the wisdom for what it is. So that's why I always tell people wisdom is wisdom, regardless of where it comes from. And if you're a person, a man of spirit or a man of wisdom, does it matter if that's what the Buddhist said? Does it matter if that's what voodoo said? Does it matter if this is what Christianity said? If the knowledge and the wisdom in it's beneficial to you. And that's why for me, that is my foundation, because the truth is everywhere, just like God is everywhere. It's not in just one specific religion or one specific anything. God is everywhere. And wisdom is everywhere too. You know what I'm saying? Even in the dumb shit. In fact, in some of the dumb shit that you do, there's a bunch of wisdom that you could extract out of it. So again, this is the beauty of it all. I mean, to me, it's not really a disclaimer, but if this is your first time, just for me this is me being politically correct. But I truly don't give a fuck. But hey, I don't recall who said it. Was it Dave Chappelle? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're dealing with a lot of bitch ass niggas. But anyway, we ain't judging. As a disclaimer, that's probably the only disclaimer, although to me it's not. But anyway, with all of that being said, let's delve right into it. Let me see. Check out my other channel, Lespri, and the reason why I would advise you to do so only because the structure is a little bit different there. You get to see me on a whole different level in terms of I'm smoking, I'm drinking, I'm talking my shit. I delve a lot more into certain topics. As part of my routine, I'll give you a perfect example. On that channel, I talk about spirituality, whereas this is still the same thing, but I'm approaching it in just a whole different level. This is me, experiencing a whole other aspect of me here. This is where, I don't really say a bunch of shit, although I'm talking my shit. Tomatoes. So this is where, I get to be a little more personable. I mean, depending on how you look at it too. Do you see what I'm saying? I get to articulate a lot better here. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, tomatoes. So it is what it is. But anyway, let's get right into it. So what we're going to be talking about tonight is that it's a quote. I mean, a lot of them are very powerful too, man. And the one thing that I didn't mention, right? So when we talked about how the words, or what I'm referring to quotes, the way they captivate your mind, almost like demanding your fucking attention. And here's something else. I forgot to mention that, and that's the key thing about the power of words, because now you get to see how powerful words truly are, because it's acting on. I mean, it's fucking you up. When you see a certain like a fucking intelligent quote, like the intelligence is all around it. It's blossoming. It's like you're looking at the intelligence. Like, I mean, how bright can it be? And that's why too a lot of those statements that demand for your fucking attention. And to me, like, if you're truly gonna talk about the power of words, I mean, that's what that is to me. But to each his own, it is what it is, but to me, I get to experience it in the most powerful, ways ever. That, it's almost like, I mean, that's why this is that when I'm talking about the power of words, that's what I'm talking about. But anyway, I think I forgot to mention that. And Also, as you'll see in the title, I mean, you might want to check out, the smoky title because obviously I had to shrink this, so it's gonna be said a certain way. But the true quote that we're gonna be talking about here, you'll get to see it in the smoke, and what that is saying pretty much is that holding on to anger, it's like drinking poison and expecting somebody else to die. You know what I'm saying? Now, oh my God, that is such a powerful statement. There are so many things that are being said here. It's just, and this is the beauty of these things too. It's like there's one thing being said, and as you're delving more into it, there are so many other things to unpack. And that's why I love this shit. It's like, and the words are, it's literally fucking me up. But anyway, wow, again, amazing. Where do we start? Where do we start? Where do we start? So, the most obvious thing, I guess that statement is saying in so many words, right? By you holding on to anger, I mean, it's only hurting you, nobody else. So I feel like that is the most, I mean, that's the most obvious thing that this is talking about too. Now, the other stuff that this is talking about that is not being said, but it's also being said as you truly understand what is being said, because that's where the wisdom is hidden. Because by now, if my anger is only hurting me, so this is also allowing me to become more conscious of what I'm putting into my mouth, what I'm inhaling. Because at this point, you know what I'm saying? And this is also talking about forgiveness too, compassion. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Again, it's like there's so many shit that's being said here, right? So me being aware of what's going in my mouth gives me more control over me. All right, so let's take it step by step. So again, there are I like where do we start? Where do we start? All right, so let's start by so now it gives me a better control. It gives me better understanding of, let's just say, what I'm saying, of myself. But also, oh my God, this is also talking about projection too. Because, and here's something else, right? Because a lot of us, we don't truly understand projection and how it's taking place into our lives, right? But before I get to projection, so let's talk about, how, what I'm saying, you got to be careful because anger at this point, right? Because it's not hurting you, but it's hurting me. And if it's hurting me, because when people are angry, it's like what they're mad about, they want you to feel it. And this is where, having the understanding of it from both ends help, right? So you understand, how to treat yourself in terms of, what not and what not to eat. Because if you're eating poison, nobody else is gonna die. It's gonna be you. And that's why, like I always tell people, we all gonna have to stand up to what we do. You're gonna have to respond to your own actions, and that goes for everybody, good or bad. It don't matter. So be careful what you cook. Just be careful what you're eating. That's all we're saying. You know what I'm saying? Because you're the one who's gonna digest it, nobody else. And here's something else too. That statement is also talking about acceptance too. But that's down the line, and we're gonna touch on all that shit. So, damn, already 14 minutes in. I'm just getting warm up. So, and that also addressed the whole thing about validity too. How people are keeping up with the Joneses. Do you see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, who you truly hurting is you. Because if anger, and that's why you don't compete with nobody, it's not gonna take you anywhere, right? Because it's only hurting you. And the people that you're looking to convince or to do whatever the fuck, at the end of the day, we are all responsible for us. So although they may be gossiping or doing whatever they doing or looking at you for a second, at the end of the day, they can't just keep looking at you because you're gonna have to deal with your life anyway. So that's why when you understand that, why not investing in you then? So that statement in so many words is also talking about you, you know what I'm saying? Acknowledging you. But although that's not being said directly though. Do you see what I'm saying? And again, this is the beauty in these things. So I need to choose one thing to talk about. So we talked about let's get into projections. Because there is such a thing as a positive projection and a negative projection. I know for me personally, I have gone through what is called the positive projection. And let me talk about that first. What that is pretty much, I always used to admire people who has knowledge, people of knowledge, people who's striving, who's making themselves better. But what I never, it took a minute for me to realize was the things that I like about that person. It was me. I'm a man of God. I'm a man of wisdom. I'm a man who loves to thrive. But when I couldn't see that in me at that time, and again, and that's the whole aspect of you have to wake up to you, and ultimately you're gonna learn that, and that's why the whole spiritual journey, it's just you being you, man. You know what I'm saying? It isn't. I mean, it's change without changing. And the more you change, you're gonna realize the more you haven't really changed, but you're becoming more of you. And this is the paradoxical things about life that we have to learn to. And again, that statement, all of that shit stemmed from there. But although none of it was actually mentioned, and this is the hidden gem. When you truly understand what's being said, then you get to see what's not being said. Oh, I hope I'm not losing you, baby. I hope I'm not losing you. But if I am, it's all good. Guess what? This is recorded. You can always go back. You know what I'm saying? And that statement too also talk about forgiveness too, because you got to look at it from different angle, right? And that's why when you forgive somebody, and without me, oh man, there's so much shit to talk about. So let's finish up talking about projection, right? So that was a positive projection for myself, but at the end of the day, understand this: projection is not self mastery. So ultimately, you need to come to self mastery, meaning, to be aware of what you're putting in your mouth and understanding that you're the one putting it into your mouth. So if that's the case, you're going to have to digest it. So why not looking for the best thing for you to digest? Do you see what I'm saying? And that's why, too, we have to wake up to us. Do you see what I'm saying? Even when we're talking about eating healthy, I mean, it's for you. You know what I'm saying? And I think Jay-Z had made this statement. He was talking about how the cigarette pack, I mean, because I smoke myself too. I mean, that's a whole different level too. Like, again, you know what I'm saying? It tells you that it's going to kill you, but yet you go ahead and smoke. Check out my other channel, by the way. I'm with all the smoke. In fact, when you see the title of this, it's going to be in smoke. So again, I'm not trying to lose you. There's different levels in it too, different layers. You just gotta know where you at with it. You gotta know how to flow with it. But again, that's a whole different knowledge. But this is also, for you to get to explore the different aspect of life too. But anyway. So let's get back to a negative projection now. Negative projections. It's when now you hate something into somebody else. The thing that you hate about somebody is the thing that you hate about you. And I'll give you guys a perfect example because I went through it, right? So if you ever and that's part of your growth. I mean, if you don't have any hater, you're not growing, and this is facts, guys. I mean, because what's taking place by your growth is that, and of course, at one point, I mean, it's all part of the journey, right? Jesus went through it, the trial and tribulations, and the people stoning you and all that shit for you to become the Christ to elevate. And as when you elevate, this is when you truly get to know who you are. You go where you belong, and you get to be on your path and doing what you do. But for a lot of us, and I know I've been there myself, where you kind of like trying to figure out who you are. You didn't have any, boundaries. Who you were, but not to a full extent, right? So as you trying to figure it out and you being around other people, it's like I've always trying to be myself. It's almost like people who are not being themselves. Now I know for me to be myself, nobody else can be around. So that's why you have to create your fucking boundaries, right? But for a lot of us, that's that baby stage. A lot of us, you have to make it through like that process. It's required for all of us. Anybody who had ever become Christ-like, Buddha-like, I mean, that's the journey. You're gonna have to go through it. Oh, you gotta be crucified, baby. Sorry to say, but you will enjoy it too. You will enjoy it, and that's exactly what's gonna take you to the next level. So you need that. So going back to the negative projection, right? So I've had people, of course, because I'm happy, and people who are miserable, who are not happy themselves, because, that's their understanding of life. You know what I'm saying? They choose to be, miserable. I mean, how can you be happy? So they're projecting themselves onto you, and now they thinking because now you are the problem, but not knowing that they are miserable. And that's what they're projecting. And that's what your haters are too. Just so you know, in so many ways, that's why they can't have something, you're not going to have it. And if you understand this whole statement too, all you got to do is chill. You know what I'm saying? Because they're drinking the poison and they trying to beat you up, right? And then all you gotta do is like, okay, keep going. You know what I'm saying? And I can't recall who actually made that statement. I don't know if it was the actual Chinese, and I don't recall because I read so many different shit, but and from so many different sources too, and I embody all of it. All of it is mine. But anyway, but technically, what they were saying is, if you just watch your enemies destroy themselves, all you gotta do is just be patient. I said, just keep sipping your shit, drink your shit, and watch them destroy themselves. And that's what they're gonna do. Because what you eat don't make me shit. And when you understand that, it allows you. Here's something else too. That statement is all about self mastery too. Do you see how so many shit that's being said here? We haven't even talked about. I mean, so far I'm still touching on fucking projection. I didn't even talk about forgiveness, what that truly is all about. But you kind of get a hint. Like obviously, if you forgiveness is for you. But anyway, we'll talk about that. And then you also get to see self mastery here, because when you truly master yourself, you don't project, and when you don't project yourself to other people, you truly get to accept people for who they are. And that's why everything starts with you. That's why you got to embrace you first before you can embrace somebody else. Do you understand what I'm saying? So again, that's why for me too, I like in actuality or in reality, the idea of devaluing yourself to somehow make you feel like you humble, or all of that's bullshit. Because if you not using you, obviously, how useful are you? And when we're talking about a community, society, it's what we bring to the table. What makes us better, and like a lot of people, we always talk about the 90s, right? How everybody's what they were bringing into the fucking table. And you know, I know for me, I was a Fuji fan, I was an Outkast fan, and none of these. Although those two motherfuckers was fucking dope, I was a Roots fan. They fucking dope and different. I get to enjoy them. And of course, the Fugees was the thing for me because a nigga Haitian. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm biased on that one. You know what I'm saying? But Outkast, I fuck with these niggas heavy. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm saying all of that to say, and it's everything that they had to bring to the table. And you can only bring anything to the table if you're being you. I mean, what do you have to offer? The offering's got to come from you. Is it not? You know what I'm saying? So again, even the whole idea of, you know what I'm saying? And again, to have a powerful team too. That's exactly what it means. It's when everybody is on 100 and doing what they do and they do it well, baby. So that's why, like I always tell people, the best way to serve the community, you got to serve yourself first. You know, if I didn't quite fully develop and understand what the fuck am I talking about here, how can I be useful to you? But anyway, so again, and that statement is also reflecting of it's you to acknowledge you, man. But again, anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about here before. Let's be focused a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let's focus. But and that's the beauty of this too. Enjoy the whole fucking conversation. Because there's so many things to unpack, and one thing may lead to another, but ultimately, at the end of it all, you know, it's something that you didn't have, I guarantee that you're gonna have. You know what I'm saying? So get your medicine, nigga. And shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, get your medicine. Mm-hmm. So, you know, so now I just touch on negative projection. You know what I'm saying? And here's something else too, I guess, as I, you know, well, since we're here, that's why when I always talk to people, I tell people, right, energetically, I know, I mean, on the surface, opposite does not attract. I mean, on the surface, it looks like it's different, but energetically, it has to be the same. Like you never seen someone who's a neat freak, being with like the most unorganized motherfucker, and you like, wow, how did you guys meet? You know what I'm saying? But what you need to understand it energetically, they are both off, and that's how they come together. And the minute you know you change or you become more on a positive or you become in tune with your own fucking energy, you're not gonna be with somebody, I mean, regardless of how different they are. And the same thing applies too. Now, someone who's on top of their game or you on top of your game, right? We may do different things, but game recognize game. And we're always gonna come together too and have more respect for fucking, because now we have things to share. Listen, man, I mean shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm talking about some shit that's too obvious. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's not that obvious. I understand. You know, and here's something else too. That's why the truth is all around you. What you gotta do is you just gotta wake up to it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they mean by what you're seeking is seeking you. It's already there. You got to wake up to it. And that's why, too, and in one of my recordings, I can't recall if it was the other channel or this one, you know, when we talk about you are in your own way. And that's good or bad. And just the same way you could be in your own way to block shit for you, you know, you can also remove yourself from your way to make shit happen for you, too. And by removing yourself, and of course that entails supporting yourself. So it's not really you like, okay, let me get myself out of the way because, you know, I'm fucking myself up. No, it's almost like, let me be in my way, but not to block shit for me, but to make shit happen. So there's layers in this. But anyway, for the sake of this fucking argument, a lack of better terms, let's just say you're on your fucking way. You need to remove yourself out of your way. But removing yourself out of your way is truly you fucking supporting yourself. But anyway, there's just layers to it. But anyway, for lack of better terms, right? Get yourself. What the fuck was I talking about? So, I was saying that to say, so we were talking about projection. So, when positive or negative at the end of the day, you're not you. And I know for me, when I look at even in my past relationship, because I was projecting, although it was a positive projection, I wasn't truly me. So now I was able to make the connection, shadow work, keyword, shadow work, meaning understanding my actions, behind the scene of my actions. You know what I'm saying? That's what the shadow work is. And again, this is also revealing the complexity in us, that we are all more than what we appear to be. And that goes for all of us. Changing your mentality, you change your life. And the Kabbalion says it best in terms of our essence. In so many words, too, I'm giving you what spirituality is. It's you. You are a living mind. But anyway, I mean, it needed to be said. But check out my other channel. I go a lot deeper into. I mean, again, but it's all connected. Shit. I might as well bring out my smoke. Tomatoes. But, this is where, I get to be a little more politically correct. I'm not smoking. I get to be, I guess, I'm jerking off a little bit, to be honest. But I don't give a fuck either way. I'm wilding. But anyway, going back to, because now when you understand, when you eat poison, right, and you're expecting somebody else to die, or expecting something to happen to that person when you're doing it to you. That's the funny thing too, right? So that allows you to have more self-control, but to acknowledge your actions. But most importantly too, to claim your independency, if that makes any sense. To claim your power, for you to become the king of your castle. And these are all the shit that is being said here too, guys. You know what I'm saying? But yet that's not being said. Because when you understand this, well, let's take it a bit further. When you understand that, well, let's walk a little bit further. And again, I'll never stop talking about the beauty of those fucking statements. I know for me, it gets my mind to be all over the place. But anyway, so that's why when you master projection, you're mastering yourself. And what that also does, so now we already talked about the positive and the negative side of projection. Then now, it's gonna be about self mastery. But also, we talked about forgiveness, right? So let me tell you guys a little bit about me, right? So in so many words, just to make it, what I'm saying? Because this shit's going to come out, anyway. So, but to be concise, and this is just for educate, to make a point, right? So I was raised in a family that wasn't mine. Of course, my true identity was not revealed to me. Crazy shit. And as a result, abuse and all that shit. Anything you can fucking imagine, right? But I'm saying that to say, right, what these people did to me, had nothing to do with me, although it has everything to do with me. But it's revealing their true selves. Because remember, what you eat don't make me shit. And that's why I always tell people too, your circumstances doesn't really influence you as you think, but it reveals who you truly are. And like I always tell people too, if you live in the hood, I know we like to portray the hood as, niggas selling this, selling that. Yes, there's a lot of that going on too, but that's probably 10% of it. I mean, most people were living in the hood, just like Tupac. And I was watching this shit where he was saying, "Well, the same shit black white people are afraid of, we're afraid of that too, nigga." You know what I'm saying? Now we could be living in this neighborhood. I mean, shit, that's what we can afford, but that doesn't mean we're automatically immune to it. And this nigga was a dope nigga too. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying all of that to say, so in so many words, what he was saying without saying it is that, yo, man, like, yeah, like the hood doesn't make it because you come from the hood. That doesn't mean you're automatically a gangster. In fact, oh shit, and I'm just, shit. Let's just talk some shit, right? I was watching what was Derrick Rose, you know, NBA player. You know what I'm saying? This nigga was talking about the hood that he came from, right? Because you know you always have that idea. I mean, I know for me because I'm not from no hood. You know what I'm saying? But when the first time I went to a project in fucking Brooklyn in New York, nigga, like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, it's so crazy. Like, cause listen, man, I'm originally from Haiti, so I know what a hut look like. I know whatever the fuck, whatever I see look like. Nigga, I would choose a hut over a motherfucking, cause the hut, you get to be peaceful and nobody pissing around, no shitting around. Like in a lot of those projects, like you walking around, niggas, yo, it's something else. And I gotta thank my friend too, man, because you know, I mean, I don't know if you guys know anything about New York, if you ever lived in New York, right? So they have this Caribbean parade, you know, around like Labor Day, right? And you know, many people from different states, you know, if you're Caribbean, so you come out and check it out, whatever, right? And for the first time, I went to a project because I ended up, you know, meeting a friend of mine, and he said, "Yo, let me just go ahead and get some alcohol and all that shit." And oh boy, all right, nigga, let's go. Shit, I'm already having a good time. Let's get what we're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna party and do all. Man, when I went, I'm like, "Yo, what is this?" Nigga, it's a whole different game. But I'm saying all of that to say, right? Your circumstances do not reflect who you are. I mean, no. I mean, doesn't influence you, but it reflects who you are, and that's why you'll see a lot of motherfuckers. Even when you shit, I was listening to Shaq. So, nigga, Shaq was telling he's from Newark, New Jersey. Nigga, do I need to say more? Well, if you don't know, you don't know. But if you do know, nigga, I don't need to say more. But yet he knows, you know, he plays his basketball shit, doing his all, you know what I'm saying? So again, like I always tell people, man, your circumstances doesn't, I mean, they describe you, but not in a way of, I mean, this is where you belong, this is who you are. No, it helps to define you in the sense of what are you gonna do? Who are you? So you truly get to show who you are, not just because everybody else is a gangster. What the fuck that has to do with you? And that's why a lot of us, let's just say a good 90% who came from the hood, you know what I'm saying, those are hardworking people, man. You know what I'm saying, who was working hard, immigrant family, you know what I'm saying, that kind of shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? But ironic, but unfortunately, looking at the hood is always, you know what I'm saying, it's always those gangster shit. And here's funny too, these niggas call it the streets. Like, it's only what they're doing that's taking place in the streets. When you go to work, where the fuck do you go? You know what I'm saying? The government, where the fuck do you think they are? In heaven? You know what I'm saying? You know, the job that you go to, I mean, it is the streets, bro. But I get it. Motherfuckers saying street shit because you're doing illegal shit. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I reside in Georgia. There's a lot of niggas in the fucking street. Niggas that are cooking, you know what I'm saying, in the fucking streets. Niggas that are selling their fucking watermelon right now. That's just gonna come out. You know what I'm saying? This is all streets, nigga. Now you choose to be stupid shit. Now you call it street shit. But nevertheless, I digress. So we were talking about the whole projection shit. So we already talked about that, right? But again, you know, now that's why when you become the king of your castle, you know what I'm saying? Now your environment. You master. That's why to master your environment, you gotta master you. There's no way you're gonna master your environment without mastering yourself. I mean, if you want to hurt me, why would you want to take poison thinking it's gonna hurt me? You know what I'm saying? And that's why if you pick, I like the only thing you gotta do, man, just be patient. You know what I'm saying? For me, I'm smoking my shit because you ain't touching me. And why would I even tell you not to hurt me? What? Keep listen. Do go out with a bang. You ain't banging, nigga. You ain't represent no set, nigga. Cause you ain't banging. You still sending other people to get your work done, nigga. Come put your own work in. That's how it goes for everybody, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You can't put your own work halfway through. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm wilding. So now we talked about projection, but the main thing is you're gonna have to be you because only when you become you, then you make a difference. You got to be different to make a difference. Just like, I mean, you can't think critically if you're not first being critical. And this is the connection in what you do, in what you do. Not because you had a fucked up job, it reflects you. No. You go way beyond that. You gotta understand that. And this is again the paradox that you have to embrace. It's like you being you. You do things that is not you, but yet you being you by doing things that is either you or not you. I mean, you put it into context however you get it. But that's what the Kabbalion, but I just wanted you to understand, this is what the Kabbalion is referring to by opposite comes together. And when you understand that, that's why in life, you know, you have to embrace both being logical and being intuitive. They go hand in hand. And in so many words too, that is the perfection of life. That's why this world is a perfect world. Not because there's no bad and there's no good, but it's because there is good and there is bad, and what is good could be bad, and what is bad could be good. And that's where the perfection comes in. And that's why you need to become perfect. And again, everything that we're talking about here are things that are reflecting your reality. So that's why when I talk to people about faith, I mean, it's life, nigga. It's not a religious thing. If you're going to say this is a religious thing, then you don't know who you are. If you're looking at spirituality and you think that's something that's outside of you, then you don't know who you are. But anyway, let's get back. I mean, this shit could go so many different... 43 minutes. All right, let's wrap it up, right? So now, forgiveness, right? So I was talking, and here's something else too. That helps you to understand what forgiveness is all about. You don't forgive other people because of them. Because if you hold on to that anger, to those fucking, whatever the fuck that shit is, it's only going to hurt you. So when you understand that, it gives you more power over yourself. And that's why forgiveness is a must. I know for me, I don't hold no fucking grudges against anybody. Even the people who hurt me. But now here's the difference though. Just because I don't hold grudges against you doesn't mean that you're going to be back in my energy. No way, Jose. You know what I'm saying? It had nothing to do with that. It's the whole idea of forget about it and not forgetting about it. And again, there's no logical way of me trying to explain that besides just saying it. And what's understood doesn't have to be explained. Or maybe it does. I don't fucking know. But, you know, for lack of better terms, it's to embrace the opposite of life. And when you do, it's like it's that's why this is the shit that has to be lived, right? But anyway, going back to forgiveness, you don't forgive somebody else because of them. You forgive it because of you. Now, what you allow to continue happening to your life, now that's on you. Now, that part is on you. And that's where, in so many words, that statement is also helping you with taking accountability too. Because if I'm drinking poison, how am I drinking it and you're going to die? You see what I'm saying? How Sway? How Sway? You know what I'm saying? So when you understand that, then at this point, truly, it's like, you know what I'm saying? You must forgive. You know what I'm saying? But forgiving is also about forgetting, but yet you do not forget. But not in the sense of there's a grudge that you're holding on to, but it's because I know you. Now people do change. Let them. That shit had nothing to do with you. Just like shit. If you were fucking yourself up, I'll let you. So if you change, why would I not let you change? What the fuck that has to do with me? And of course, making the world a better place is the way to go. Do you understand what I'm saying? And people who truly change too, they will let that shit go and change and go about their ways. But if someone has to impose on you, they need to apologize to you. It's bullshit. Bullshit. Do you see what I'm saying? And why would you need somebody's apology to forgive them anyway? And I'm saying, so I'm saying that to say to be careful, because forgiveness is for you, and people sometimes they will try to act like, what I'm saying, they're looking for your forgiveness, but that's not truly what they're looking for. What they're truly looking for, I want to be back in your energy, and that's what you got to be like. Oh hell to the no, no. So again, creating your boundaries, it's not because you're against anybody, but it's because I know who you are. And in fact, your boundaries is for protecting them. Obviously, you're the main beneficiary here. You know what I'm saying? But it's also protecting them too. Because you're already a hater, you know what I'm saying? Having me around, I'm just gonna, what I'm saying, you're gonna hate more. Some of you may love it. Ultimately, it's gonna happen anyway. But what I'm trying to say, as part of your process or your path, right? Jesus had to be crucified, so all of us, you're gonna have to go through it too. In terms of, when you don't quite fully know who you are, you haven't fully been realized, meaning knowing who you are, right? So now, as we're all mingling, you haven't created your boundaries yet. You don't know where you need to go because you got to go where you are celebrated, so that way you could help other people too. But a lot of times, but that's a process. It's a process. Do you understand what I'm saying? So again, going back to forgiveness, which is also what this is also talking about too, on the receiving end of it, understanding projections, and again, there's so much shit that's being said um, from that statement. It's just unbelievable. But anyway, so we talked about projection. We talked about, we're gonna talk about self mastery and fucking acceptance, right? So now we're talking about forgiveness. So what other people do you see what I'm saying? Because now you understand that resentment that you have, it's only hurting you. That grudge that you have, it's only hurting you. Now the flip side of that too now would be the receiving end of that when someone is projecting some negative shit to you. What the fuck does that have to do with you? Because understanding that statement also help you to understand you from the giving end of it, being aware of what you're doing to yourself and expecting that to happen from to somebody else, but also understanding you now as being somebody else and someone is projecting their shit to you. What the fuck does that shit have to do with you? And that's why, speaking from the opposite side of it, and this is, by the way, too, what is called to have a holistic understanding by you being holistic as well. But anyway, by looking at the opposite side of it, or the receiving end of it too, it allows you now to have self mastery. I mean, on both end, right? I mean, you got to be careful about what you're putting into your mouth. So therefore, it gives you a better understanding about you, how you work, and what needs to be done. But also on the receiving end of it, tomatoes, right? I mean, also you understand projection, and that shit got nothing to do with you. And because you understand that too, and that's what allows you to forgive other people too. But yet, you also, as part of your self-mastery, we're going to talk about acceptance too. You have to learn to accept other people. And acceptance, contrary to what a lot of people think, it has that down, like when you're accepting, it's almost like you're settling for less. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say, theoretically, if you gay and I accept you, how am I settling for less here? Do you see what I'm saying? How is, let's just say you fucking another man, somehow your dick is going into my ass. I mean, it doesn't, I haven't seen it yet. You know what I'm saying? And of course, this is not to say that you just don't give a fuck. No. It simply means that you, in fact, you comfortable with who you are. You accept who you are. It allows you not to project yourself into somebody else. Because a lot of people who are, let's just say, who has a gay phobia, it comes from you. It's what you're afraid of. And that's the part that, now you negatively projecting that. That's what you need to check. Because for me, I have no feeling. And here's something else too, and that's what the Kabbalion was saying. The Kabbalion talks about, was it the law of correspondence? I can't recall. No, the correspondence as it is within, so it is. Yeah, in so many ways. I guess you can make the connection. Like they were saying, hate and love is the same thing, which is true. That's why somebody you love, you can also hate them too. The same way you feel that, passion very intense about how you want them, and sometimes when they do something and you feel a certain way, you that quick to hate them too. Because it's the same thing. You see what I'm saying? That's why the opposite of hate, it's not love. It's to be indifferent. Like for me, like I'm just indifferent. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, and that's what really not, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what to say, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's why too I understand my position. Even when someone do something bad to me, like I'm not gonna be part of your demise because that's what you choose to do, or because of how you see things, whatever the fuck. What that has to do with me? Let's just say I'm happy, you unhappy. Why the fuck should I be concerned that you unfucking happy? Why would I give... Nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you sucking dicks, that shit got nothing to do with me. And because of that, so when we're talking about acceptance, that's what acceptance is. I respect you for who you are. I take you for who you are. I mean, taking you doesn't mean I gotta partake in what you're doing. It simply means, okay, that's what you do. Like, just like the same thing. Like, if you're asking me how I feel about Puff Daddy, I have no feeling. Now, that has nothing to do because of what he does, it's right or wrong. I mean, he's gonna have to answer to what the fuck he does any fucking way. No. I mean, because he's I mean, it wasn't my house that got raided. Was it your house? Let me know. You let me know. I mean, of course. Now, is it something we all can learn from? Now, this is something else. And this is how, for me, even when I talk about certain celebrities and shit, that's why I would tell you, motherfuckers, yo, this is for educational purposes. First of all, these niggas don't give a fuck about me. Why would I even give a fuck about them? Do you understand what I'm saying? But it's not because they have to give a fuck about me for me to give a fuck about them. That's not what we're saying here. But I mean, in general, like, and that's why when you understand, and I'm not sure if I touched on that. That's why when you trying to keep up with the Joneses, at the end of the day, nobody really gives a fuck. You know why? Because we have to live our own life at the end of the day. So although that's why you might as well invest in you. I mean, it makes the most sense. Not even that when you do, but the shit you're gonna that's gonna come out of it, like shit. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I love 50 Cent music, bro. That shit was needed. That shit was different. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just like I talked about the Outcasts and the Fugees and all that shit, nigga. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, how can you go wrong when you? And that's why too. Like, that's why it's when you're not being you. What the fuck are you doing? What are you truly bringing into society? What are you contributing if you're not being you? And this is why, ironically, what we call our society, the rules that they have in place, is the very first thing that's fucking you up. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of companies too, they pushing for that diversity because they understand it. They pushing for certain things because they understand. Hey, having a team, man. A team means you do certain things, I do other things, but ultimately, the whole band is us doing different shit. So to serve your community is you find what the fuck you do good because it is gonna be needed. Shit. Thank you, Michael Jordan. Thank you, Mike Tyson. Like the excitement that they bring or they do, they had to be them though. And that requires, what I'm saying, practice. That requires them not hanging out with other niggas. That requires them spending time on them and they adding values to us. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's where I can't recall who was saying that, but what I'm saying, there's a difference between pleasure and what was done and something you actually enjoy. There's a, there is a huge difference. If you're just sucking dick or just fucking, whereas doing something that is you. You know what I'm saying? You get to experience yourself on a whole different level. Again, it's never been about quantity, it's all about quality. And quality is referring to that inherent like features in anything. And that includes you. If you're not using you, fuck even the conversation that we're having tonight. Because ultimately I'm using all of these things for you to realize or to attain your highest level of consciousness. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, so now we were talking about self mastery, and that also comes with acceptance. There's nothing weak about it at all. In fact, this is, I have better connection. with people now because I'm being me. Just like we say, if you true to yourself, you can never be false to somebody else. And if you're false to you, you're always gonna be. I mean, if you're not true to you, you're always gonna be false to somebody else. There's no way around that. So acceptance, there's nothing wrong with it. There's no settling. There's nothing of that. In fact, even in fucking relationship too, you have to accept your fucking partner. And accepting is not you settling for less. If you don't like the person, go find somebody that you fucking love. But whoever that you choose to love, they gonna be who the fuck they gonna be. Like there's no way for me, let's just say for a bitch or for a woman, however the fuck you choose to label that, I'll leave you and your emotions dealing with that. For me not to be me. Get like what the fuck? And that will be a disservice to you any fucking way. How would I give you me if I'm not being me, bitch? And guess what? You'll never be satisfied anyway. So again, going back to even the whole seeking for validity or seeking for validation, it never really work. It's a lose lose because now, not only at the end of the day, nobody gives a fuck, bro. Let's just say you go to a club, you spend $1,000, and people were looking at you. Oh, that nigga dope. Yeah, he had a few bottles. At the end of the day, when I go back home and then I don't see you anymore, it's like that shit evaporated. And that's why Wyclef has that thing. I really love it. You play celebrity, you be R.I.P. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So after spending all that money, thinking, okay, nobody gives a fuck, bro. Nobody truly give. Like it's just part of our essence. That's why a lot of people too, like sometimes, and that's why compassion comes in too, because when we have compassion, it's a little bit different, right? Because now we have the ability to understand other people. But when you go inside of you, you come to understand that, you do your shadow work. I could see where you fall short. Now, it doesn't mean I got to take on your bullshit. That's your bullshit. But I have compassion because now I understand. So it's almost like, oh, look at how he or she's fucking herself up. So I'm not even happy because you're going through some shit, nor am I, let's just say, unhappy because you're going through some shit. I'm numb to it. I mean, I guess you could call that not giving a fuck. But yet, I have no animosity towards them. Just like if the example I was saying, how I forgive, saying these people who trying to hurt me, trying to kill me, just to get my fucking inheritance shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I also understand. I also, as a teacher, a spiritual teacher who hold the mirror of wisdom, I also hold the mirror of conscience too. That's how I know, what I'm saying, I could put judgment on you too. Because what you did is what you did. Has nothing to do with me. Now, do I forgive? Fuck yeah. Because if I'm gonna drink this poison, it's not gonna kill you. So I'm not drinking no poison, nigga. At the end of the day, don't drink fucking poison. You know what I'm saying? Don't drink no poison, man. It ain't gonna do shit for you. But hurting you. But at the same time now, having that compassion, being able to relate to other people, and yet without attachment, without no clinginess. Does that make any sense? I could relate, but I'm not, what I'm saying, with no strings attached. And that's the true meaning, and that's why for me, that's why I always tell people, man, your sanity, only way for you to be sane is through spirituality. It's you knowing who you are. Otherwise, there's no other fucking way. That's why you're living in this mental institution. People who hating on fucking each other, and all these things are taking place. There's a lot of crimes that are taking place, or hate crimes. And for the most part, that's what they are. So truly, when you're looking at something, you're thinking that's what it looks. It's more to it than what it looks like. So that's why I can understand what people mean by when people do certain things. Maybe prison is not the answer, but also it is the answer too. I could see it from both perspectives. It's not the answer because that's not what's gonna help you in terms of seeing shit that you did. Because what you truly need is that recognition of it, and that's the whole point of confessing. Not just confessing, but also to recognize, right? Or to take that accountability. But it all comes out, and that's why also there's a deep meaning, and I'm gonna break down too, man. I think that's gonna be my next video on a few things about sacrament and baptism. Really get you to see, the deeper side of all of these things, because a lot of us, we only look at it from a surface perspective and not understanding the whole spiritual perspective of it. And baptism is a perfect example. I know for me, for a very long time, I didn't get what that ritual was. Right? But anyway, check out my other channel. You're going to figure it out, nigga. Going back to fucking, was it acceptance that I was? No, I mean, holding the mirror of that has nothing to do with me. Right? What they did, I was talking about the flip side of it too, though. It's like, for the most part, a lot of these people too, they're not going to get it. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's open to change. Although they have the ability, but they're not doing it. So what do you do with somebody who's not open to change? All right, keep hoping they're going to get better. You're going to fuck your ass up. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's where you can only lead a fucking, let's just say, a horse to the fucking water. You can't make them drink it. And when you understand that, that's why even us who are spiritual healers, we understand, listen, man, I'm only trying to show it to you. I can only show you the door. And that's what Morpheus was saying to Neo. I can only show you the door. And that's all you could do. And hoping that at the end of the day, you made the good decision. But if you're curious about what's on the other door, look at me, nigga. Came out safe. But you're going to have to see it for yourself. And even sometimes too, as you step outside of it too, or you went through that door, it may take that for you to truly see your fucking teachers too. Because that's what Jesus, in so many words, represented. Until when you become that, or you go through that door, then now you understand that you are the way. You being the way, you are the way. The way is you. The way to God, you are your way to God. Nobody else. So who's the truth? Who's the way is you. Just like if I believe in Christianity, Islam means nothing to me. Or if I believe in Buddhism, Christianity means nothing to me. And vice versa too. And of course, this is not a competition to see, well, and I'm saying the bottom line is that though. So who's the way? You could be in your way or you become the way. You choose. I chose to be the way. And ironically, that's what I was trying to say by saying, it's just nigga. It's either you are the way or you are in your way. Shit, I got it now. I had it all along, but I found the best way to say it now. I'm so proud of myself. And this is the beauty too. And this is why sometimes, and I totally get it, what people mean by what you're teaching is teaching you. It wasn't anything that I didn't understand. But saying it now, it's like, okay, I got it now. Shit. In fact, I might change this into. I'm wilding. I'm wilding. But I love that though. But anyway, going back to what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? What they do, what that has to do with me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit, niggas gonna go to, they got to. That's what they did. What that has to do with me? You know what I'm saying? So if anybody, because I know I'm gonna get that, like, how do you feel? They hurt you and shit, like, yeah, hurt who? Hurt who? And this is why too. The minute you're not you're not the king of your castle, you become delusional automatically. Because when you don't master yourself, automatically you are projecting. Let me say that again. You only project when you have not mastered yourself. Positive or negative doesn't matter, because now you should be able to understand either it is positive or negative. It's not the answer. I mean, positively in a way. I mean, it's positive. It's a little bit better, you know. Okay, but it's still not it though. And a lot of us, I mean, in terms of negative and positive, you may say the negative one is probably the worst one, because at that point, you when you have the positive one, you're not trying to hurt nobody. So I kind of get it in that sense. But ultimately, whether you're hurting somebody or not, it comes down to you too, though. I mean, have you found you? Do you know who you are? And you cannot attain your highest level of consciousness if you don't know who you are. So again, acceptance has absolutely nothing to do with being weak, man. In fact, it's true power. And also, when you're not projecting yourself, I mean, a lot of people who are delusional, these are the ones who are projecting themselves onto other people. And that's what makes you delusional, because you thinking it's me, but it's not me. And that's why you'll see all you got to do with these people, listen carefully to what they're saying. And you want to take notes, because everything they're saying is about them. Everything they do is about them. Even if they're looking to trap you, they're gonna do. They trapping themselves, thinking it's you. And that's why if you're not you, you fall for anything. So that statement is truly. I mean, there's so many shit that we talked about, but a lot of it is actually inspired from that quote. I mean, holding on to anger, it's like you drinking poison and expecting someone else to die. That's crazy. I know. And that's what being delusional does to you. That's what happens when you don't know who you are. When you're projecting yourself and not having enough self-knowledge to recognize it's because of you, you're miserable. You want other people to be miserable too. You know what I'm saying? And me, because I know who I am, I'm being happy. I mean, of course, I would want to inspire you to be happy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not imposing that on nobody. I mean, if you see it, that's just because I'm being me. You know what I'm saying? That's just because I'm being me. But hey, man, you want to be mad? Okay. I mean, how do I feel? No feelings. You know, what the fuck that has to do with me? What the fuck? Please tell me. Somebody, please let me know. But again, man, when you truly understand this statement, it helps you to go beyond and unpacking a lot of the things that comes out of that statement that is fucking crazy. Just like we talk about mastery here, self-mastery. And that is probably the main thing for me. Not the main, I mean, as you are unpacking a lot of that shit, that you can actually, you know, conclude, and having the ability to truly understand it, seeing yourself in both sides of the receiving ends. Either you're the one initiating the fucking projection and understanding, nigga, somebody is not gonna die. This is your poison. And now on the flip side of it, or on the receiving end of it, now you're like, shit, like what you're projecting on me got nothing to do with me. And by getting into that type of understanding now, then you realize you have to become the king of your castle. And by you becoming the king of your castle too, then now you can relate to other people better. Because now I'm not judging you because I'm judging you. I mean, if anything, I understand. But again, like I was saying, me understanding, I mean, I don't want to say it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything as far as what you got to go through, because we all had to answer our calls. You know what I'm saying? I mean, nigga, if you've been planting tomato seeds and then now you got tomato, what is there for me? Like, you know, and that's how people too. Some people want you to feel bad for their fucked up shit. Why? I mean, I understand, but I'm not gonna feel bad about it. Your shit. I mean, it's your choice. What the fuck that has to do with me? You know what I'm saying? But not just that. Especially when, listen, man, there's a lot of people who had a lot of opportunities to better their lives, man. They chose not to. And then you're gonna feel bad for somebody like that? You let me know. For me, I have no feelings. Not in a bad way, but it's like, but I definitely have compassion. And in fact, and that might fucking blow your mind off. In fact, like, you know, I'll make sure you get what you deserve. Just like these motherfuckers who was coming. Oh, listen, man, they have no idea. and I will not miss a beat. I will not lose a sleep. You know what I'm saying? You gonna own up to what the fuck you do, like we all have to. And in so many words, I always talk about being emotionally balanced. I'm emotionally balanced like a motherfucker. And that's what that entails. Like, I understand, but hey, sir, ma'am, that's what you did. I mean, I understand. I mean, you may have been angry and, you know what I'm saying, and that's what you did, but hey, that's what you did. I know you didn't understand, but that's what you did. Oh, it wasn't your fault. That's what you did. That shit got nothing to do with me, bro. What you eat don't make me shit. Just like what I'm doing here too, got nothing to do with you neither. Do you see what I'm saying? When I was picking up my books, I was working on myself. Other people were sucking dicks. And this is the delusional part of it. The motherfuckers who were sucking dick, they feel like they got me to where I am. What dick are you sucking? Because instead of me developing myself, maybe I need to suck those dicks. Because please let me know. I mean, you must have some good ass dick that, as you sucking it, that makes somebody else's doing their work. And this is the amount of delusional that you're dealing with the minute you don't know who you are. The minute you're not taking accountability. The minute you eating poison and then you expecting somebody else to actually die. What the fuck? And this is to show you not just the amount of delusional that a lot of us are going through, but it's almost like when we're talking about sleepwalking, the deads, that's what they do. That's what the foundation of our world, the world that we're living in, is ignorance. It's people doing shit but not understanding the consequences of their actions. And even you understand it or not, man, you're gonna have to live with it, right? It's like, and that's just what it is. That's just what it is, man. So again, this is truly, if you didn't get anything out of that statement, I think the message I would, I mean, not necessarily impose, but it's self mastery. Because ultimately, when you know what you're putting in your mouth, so therefore, I mean, can you see how stupid it is, right? It's like I'm gonna smoke, but I expecting you to get high. When the fuck did that happen, or ever happen for that matter? You know what I'm saying? It's like you planting tomatoes, and then now you come and watch, and now you're waiting for mango. What? And sadly to say, man, this is the essence of the world that we're living in, or this is the gist of the matrix. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything we do is out of that, is based out of illusion, not your true self. And when it's based out of fucking illusion, well, that's what you're gonna get. That's what the shit's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Again, I mean, there's so much to talk about from that statement, and that's the beauty of those statements too. And I strongly recommend, man, take your time. You know what I'm saying? Like feed your mind. And here's something else too, and that's why, I mean, I'm not trying to sound like, trying to tell people to do the positive shit or do the good shit, although there's nothing wrong with it. And that's how the truth is going to set you free, when you know your essence. And in my last recording too, I think I was talking about, or my most recent one, which is, I guess this could be considered the last one. But in my most recent one, right? So I talked about understanding the different teachers, the teachers who talks about behavior versus the teachers that talks about you. It's two different schools of thoughts. It's two different reality too. Because when you talk about you most likely will take accountability for you. Then it's not a behaving shit. It's not like, let's just do the right thing type of shit. Although I'm not against it. But it's more like knowing your essence. If you know your essence, just for you to thrive, just for you to be a better human being, fuck it. Just for you to be a decent human being, you got to feed both. You got to take care of your physical aspect, and you also got to take care of your mental aspect, my friend. So when you see it from that perspective, that's why for me, I'm not into the motivational shit, although I'm not against it. That's why for me, what I'm saying, I'm not going to tell you, if somebody's telling you not to kill, not to do certain things, I mean, I'm not against it, but in the long run, it's just going to be just that, a pretending thing, just an action thing, or just a behaving thing. It's another way of wearing a mask. I mean, although in so many words, I mean, I would rather have, I mean, I certainly get it. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say if we're living in a society, that's why they tell people, your freedom stop or begins where my freedom stop, right? You hear that all the time. What this is really truly trying to say, it's humans, right? It's you. But the true thing is, when you Accept who you are when you know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ain't got to tell you not to kill. Nobody ain't got to tell you, you know what I'm saying, you got to respect your fucking neighbors. You're already doing that because you know who the fuck you are. And even as we talked about now, accepting other people, you know what I'm saying, for who they are, like, you know what I'm saying, and that's why people are always telling you too. When people tell you who they are, believe them. Now you're gonna have to ask yourself, what's stopping you from believing somebody else? And this is where, as we were all talking about here, and I'm gonna say it again, that we discovered together, is that you can either become the way, or you could be in your own way. I chose to become the way. And with all of that being said, guys, I think I'm gonna have to conclude here. And again, trying to remind yourself, man, for you to be you, nobody else can be around. And that's important for you to understand. And it doesn't mean you're, neglecting other people. It doesn't mean you're, nobody else matters. You know what I'm saying? In fact, for anybody else to matter, you gotta matter first. And that's what those are what is called spiritual laws. You do what you love, you find the one who loves you. That's just the way it goes, bro. Or you find the one you love too. Oh yeah, it goes like that part. That part too. Or that part also. Not part two, but that part also. In addition to it. So again, everything starts with you, man. For you to be you, nobody else can be around. And that's why in the occult, we have a terminology, again, that is not to be taken literally. It's an esoteric knowledge that says, for you to be you, you have to kill your parents. And it's not a physical death. What this is referring to, I mean, you may take what they give you as as a way to benefit you, but at the end of the day, that's exactly what it has to be. Something that benefited you for you to be you. And as you do so now, can you imagine how you would appreciate these motherfuckers? And when we're talking about having great parental skills and all of that shit, again, you can't give what you don't have. So how is it not being you not a fucking priority? You let me know that. You let me know what's more important than that. Because everything else everything that seems derives from it. If you're a fucking asshole, that means you don't take other people's feeling into consideration. And most likely, that's because you don't take your own feeling into considerations. So it's almost like, fuck you too. Yeah, nigga. Fuck you too, nigga. And it's gonna be that. I don't know what motherfuckers are thinking about, nigga. I'm keeping the same energy. You know what I'm saying? That's why when motherfuckers trying to turn, nigga, I'm turning all the way up. You know what I'm saying? That's why you gotta learn how to be patient. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, nigga. I mean, because I'm playing chess. I don't know what you playing. Do you? You know what I'm saying? When I come, oh, nigga. See, you tried. When I aim, I never miss. You let them know that. I shit. Bro, my lead. We never miss, nigga. Because I am the target.